Welcome to Talking Comics, where we are bag, boarded, and pre-recorded. I'm Ryan.
I'm Sean.
Thank you guys so much for coming back again to listen to us.
Trace, 3 times the charm.
We got a lot to talk about today,
We do.
but there's a few things we want to get out of the way first. Sean?
Yes. Thank you, everybody, for the pre-release. Shadows over Innistrad. That was great. Everybody came out, had a great time. Thank you for coming out to the shop. And a very special thank you to one of my dearest and oldest friends, Bill Johnston, who happens to be a bass player for a band called Age of Absence, who Thursday, April 14th at the Hawthorne Theater is opening up for OTEP. So all you metalheads, come in there. A lot of geeks, a lot of metalheads, kind of go hand in hand sometimes. Get your tickets. Get out there. April 14th, Thursday, Hawthorne Theater.
Should be a good time.
Yes.
And from what you told me and from, my experience with that guy so far, they're awesome people.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna gloss over the details, but they helped my family out a whole lot recently.
Oh, yeah.
And it's very much appreciated. I can't even put it into words.
Yeah.
Anyway, and now that we got the business out of the way, let's talk.
Let's do it.
I'm
do it.
so excited. I'm having trouble speaking.
We're going over. We might go over.
Yeah.
Extended.
Yeah,
Extended.
Our last video was long. This one's gonna be long as well. We're very sorry, but it's the fan favorite. We're putting on our utility belts, and the dork knights are talking the greatest detective in the world, the Batman.
The Dark Knight. Dork Knights on Dark Knight. Okay, that's a translation for Ryan's trapped in a big fucking with an old guy talking about Batman.
So Batman is one of the biggest, most well-known heroes.
He's pop culture, man.
Yeah.
I mean, you're hard pressed to, you throw a rock.
Yeah.
And even if they never read a comic or seen a movie,
they've heard the name.
Hey, you know who Batman is? Oh yeah, Batman.
Yeah, he's the guy who dresses like a bat and fights crime. Yep, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
So let's get the basic info out of the way. His debut. He was made. He debuted a very long time ago. First appearance in Detective Comics, 1939.
Number 27.
Yes, Detective Comics number 27.
We're almost 80 years, sir.
Yeah.
80 years
Jeez,
of Batman.
Louise. I have a poster of this comic hanging up in my room. I went and got a frame for it. That's how much I like Batman.
There is an ad. We talked last week about Action Comics number 1 was Superman.
Yeah.
There was an ad because of Detective Comics 27.
Mm-hmm.
For Action Comics number 12, they had an ad that said, coming soon, Batman number 1, because immediately
They knew.
it caught fire. It was like a wildfire. Batman.
Billionaire playboy philanthropist dresses up like a bat and fights crime. Yeah. He's living the dream, except for the whole everyone around him dies.
Yeah. Yeah.
Creators. He was created by I know Bill Finger, Bob Kane, and
Jerry Robinson.
And what's real funny, we were talking about this the other day, is until recently, Bill Finger got zero credit for the creation of the Batman.
Yeah.
And so we decided we're going to say his name first.
Yep. Yep. It was great. I mean, anytime I get fingered, thank you, Bill. It's great. I mean, we talked about it last week. We were doing the Superman thing with Siegel and Schuster. How they, these guys created like a whole genre to this day. I mean, 80, 90 years. Yeah, a template for everything.
Yeah.
And they just, because of legal issues, they just got edged out.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate that how often that kind of thing happens.
Yeah.
I've heard many a tale of this kind of kind of thing happening to people. It's really, really sad. And while we're on the topic of sad, let me tell you the story of Bruce Wayne. The child of Thomas and Martha Wayne, the entrepreneurs that they were, they helped build Gotham City into the magnificent thing that it once was. And sadly, at the age of 8, Bruce watched his parents die in an alley.
Pearls were falling, sir.
After having a lovely evening out, watching, well, depending on, continuity, what year you're reading the comic of. Like, originally it was like Zorro, wasn't it? Like, the movie that they went, the big thing that they had to go see was, he was all excited about watching Zorro.
You know, it's funny. There's Ryan and I are both the perspective of this character, but there's a little bit of a generation gap.
A little bit.
Every variation I'm very familiar with, so it tells you how old I am. So there's a plethora of jokes you can make towards me.
Tell me about Batman, Grandpa Sean. You know, in the Batman, he is one of the characters, you know, from watching the movies when I was a kid that helped get me into comic books. Like, into the, you know, all the movies, the books, cartoons. Batman was always my, you know, he was the one that really introduced me into comic books. Because he was, you know, when I was little, they had the Batman animated TV show, the Batman animated series.
Yes.
That was, I love that. Fun fact about that is when they were drawing drawing the, you know, images.
Animation, you talk about the animation cells?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They did it on black paper.
Yes.
The background's on black paper, so it would show the darker tones of the city.
Oh,
and
yeah.
It looks amazing, even to this day.
Remember we talked about it last week, the
Superman one.
Schuster, yeah. Oh, not Schuster. Oh God, what was his name?
I can't remember it. What you guys should do is you go back and watch our last podcast, and then leave a comment below and tell us who that is again. Thank you.
You dumb fucks! We just talked about it last week. First, for me, here we go with the generation gap. I'm sitting there trying to hold back, let Ryan do his thing. Let's talk about comics. Comics. Yeah. We're talking comics. Might as well talk about comics.
Oh yeah, definitely. I am ready for that.
I don't remember. I'm kidding. Batman #1, after his debut, he got it. Like I said, he got his own comic. April 1940. Yeah. Batman #1 debuted.
Well, it only took less than a year.
Exactly.
That's how popular he was.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And he wasn't back then in the old, you know, originals. He wasn't quite the same as the Batman we know now. He was just a little different. Eventually, they kind of, you know, changed him a little bit. A little bit of retconning. Sure,
they change him all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, there's Batmans you like, there's Batmans you don't like. Week to week, it's like the weather.
We're looking to you, Bat Nipples.
Oh, we'll get to that.
Oh yes. Yeah, like he didn't really have a problem with killing.
Yes, because
in his first book, he's like shooting, you know, kills a truck full of bad guys with a turret on his Batwing.
He hung a dude in that last panel.
He freaking hangs dudes.
They show that. They like the giant. Like he fought him, and then he had the rope, and like he's going away on the Batcopter, and you see that guy hanging.
He's better off this way.
Yeah.
so dark and edgy.
And Batman had gun holes. He had guns.
Yeah. He wasn't always with the batarangs.
Yeah, no, he had guns, and that's like the leads me to the serials, which in 1943 there was a serial, a short-lived, they again going like we talked about with Superman.
Yeah.
There was the Saturday matinee serials. There was like 15 episodes,
Yeah.
20 episodes, and Lewis Wilson played Batman, and Doug Croft played Robin. And the plot. You ready for this? Of course, it's 1943, so we're just ducktailing off World War II.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind
of like, okay, Marvel did Cap, where Captain America's like punching Hitler, and it's like afterwards, okay, we defeated them, and Cap miraculously got frozen. The plot for Batman and Robin, they were U.S. government agents versus Japanese assassins or secret agents. Very James Bondy like, but I mean they had the worst cost. I mean it was very, you could tell it was Batman, but it was like, your drunk uncle and like his NAMBLA boyfriend dressed up like Batman and Robin, but they had guns. What a horror! Those are super villains right there.
Oh yeah.
And they were taking on, like Nazi sympathizers after, the fall of Hitler, and it was very focused on, Japanese army and agents and stuff.
I kind of understand why they went with that, because around the end of World War II, that was like the first fall in comics. Like, comics weren't selling as much after World War II.
Yeah.
They're like, we don't particularly need these miraculous heroes anymore. The big world-threatening issue is over.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Sign of the times.
Yeah, and like that's the reason they froze Cap. They were like, we don't need this character right now. We're going to unthaw him in the future.
Right?
Well played, Marvel. And then DC's just kind of like, we're just going to keep doing our thing and hope people keep buying comics.
Yep.
I mean,
they keep cranking them out.
I mean,
they keep buying.
In my opinion, DC's killing it right now in comics. I mean, because a lot of people hate the new 52 and whatnot, but I like it because it makes continuity a little bit easier to follow. But
I don't know.
I'll get to that.
As opposed to confusion.
Yeah. But we'll talk about that a little later when we get to that point.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
Because we got another like 40 years to cover before we even get to the movies.
Least. I know we're trying to cram in 80 years going on so far of characters that we both love.
Who at this point in time has 6 titles out. I mean,
is that what it is?
Something like that. I mean, you got Batman, Batman Eternal, Detective Batman, Batman and Robin Eternal.
That's not even counting the solo books or the stuff that's discontinued that I remember.
Yeah, and then you have his guest appearances in.
Oh yeah.
In
Robin,
Grayson, Nightwing, Batgirl. The list goes on. I love it. It's going to take me forever to get the whole collection though.
The guy, it's.
I'm working on it.
And I appreciate you working on it.
Sean's got to make that rent money.
Anyway, I talked about the Wilson Croft series.
Yeah.
That was in 43, 44.
Mm-hmm.
49, they did a actual plot which led up to a movie starring Robert Lowry as Batman and John Duncan.
Yeah.
Look these up, people. And a little bit more in depth. I mean, doesn't really hold up. I mean, bear with me, folks.
Yeah.
The plot was facing off against this mysterious hooded villain called the Wizard. And it was like a 15 episode thing, and the Wizard was revealed in the last episode, and it was the big O. Henry twist, like a Tales from the Crypt type thing. It's like, oh, what?
Yeah.
Type thing. But again, it's 1949, and going into the 50s, so if you watch it today, might not hold up, but hey, it's worth a look. I'm just going off. And then after that, I mean, for me, my first Batman? Adam West, baby. Adam West.
Some days you just can't get rid of a bomb.
That's right. It's like, the first time, all you guys out there, the first time you remember losing the virginity, you always remember your first. My first Batman? Adam West. Oh, yeah. I love that show. I cannot talk enough about that show.
It's pretty iconic. Even if you never really watched it, you were completely aware of the fact that Adam West is Batman.
Well, this generation, I mean, you know, he went from Batman, and this generation knows him as Mayor of Quahog on Family Guy.
You know, I'm waiting for the day that Seth MacFarlane, if you're listening in right now, you gotta incorporate that. You need Adam West, Mayor Adam West, fighting crime at night.
Oh, he has.
He
Have you
has?
ever seen that episode where he had the cats
No.
for the cat crossbow?
Oh, okay. I remember.
Not to mention, he was an integral part. Like, Batman has his star on Walk of Fame.
Oh, wow.
Thanks to, and Seth MacFarlane was part of it. Adam West, Burt Ward were there. Remember that first one? You watched that show, right?
Family Guy?
No.
The Batman.
Batman.
Yeah.
Come on. It's in syndication. I mean, I'm not that old. I watched it. It was in syndication when I started watching it. Come on. And
No,
1966, January 12th was the first episode.
Yeah.
Bill Dozier. Interesting side fact. You know how that show started? Hugh Hefner from Playboy. They used to go back and watch all the campy stuff. You know, when he had the Playboy Mansion in, I want to say Chicago. They used to sit around, you know, and do whatever they do at the Playboy Mansion. But they used to watch the campy shows and make fun. But it turned into a big party, and it was fun, you know?
Yeah.
It's kind of like, you know, watching sci-fi movies and Sharknado. That's why there's just Sharknado 4 coming out.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm huge. By the way, Sharknado 4, The Fourth Awakens. Anyway, no. But Bill Dozier was one of these parties at the Playboy Mansion, and he took it. He took it and ran with it, literally. He's like, wow, Hef's having fun, and there's nakedness, and there's hot chicks. And, you know, I'm going to do this, and you see the colors. You know, it's the '60s, you know, going into the '70s, and that was a great show, man. It's like, I can tell you, like, watching that show. That's my childhood. Every time I turn that on, I mean, I sit there and I'm like...
You start to regress a little.
Oh, yeah,
You're
totally.
just, like, sitting there
To the point where I'm going to share an inside little info with you. When I was a kid and I watched this show, I used to watch Robin. And there were two things that really got me. There was one where they did a two-parter with King Tut, which was not a Batman character. Kind of like Aunt Harriet. There's no such thing as Aunt Harriet on the show. It's like, he went into this room. There's Robin all by himself, and he's trying to do it. Batman, I can't remember how it went, but Batman was not with him, and Robin did this. I'm like, all right, cool, man. You know, let's see some Robin.
Yeah.
And he got him in this room, and the door slid, and there was like crocodiles on there, and the panel he was on was sliding into the wall.
Yeah.
Like, tune in next week, kids. Same bad time. You know, it's like those 7 days between that and that. You don't have no idea. I mean, yeah, make fun, I know, but back then when I was a kid, that was agonizing for me. I'm like, what's going to happen to Robin?
It's essentially, kids, it's like when you're on YouTube and an ad pops up. It's a very similar feeling. Like, what the hell was that?
Hey, it's like that, for all you Walking Dead fans, it's like that cliffhanger in season finale with Negan. Enough said.
I have a feeling that you just like brought up some serious emotional issues with a lot of Walking Dead fans. They're like, I don't want to listen anymore.
No, we don't give a fuck about Batman. We're gonna get a lot of comments on this one because we don't give a shit about Batman, but we're talking Walking Dead.
Oh, we'll be talking Walking Dead at some point, definitely. I mean, if it's a comic, we're talking about it.
Oh yeah. The other moment in my childhood that I want to bring up was Robin's outfit. As a kid. No. You think you're laughing now? You're gonna laugh in a minute. When I was a kid, I did not realize that was basically short Daisy Dukes and nylons. I just thought when you grew up at that age, all men's legs were going to look like that. I couldn't wait for my legs to look like that. Can you see me now at my age now? I'm teaching gym classes like, wait, kids. But I'm wearing like the old man hosiery. Like, this is what all men's legs look like.
You just scarred so many viewers.
I'm bearing my soul, people. No, that I'm putting it on Front Street right here.
People at the shop are never going to look at you the same.
I know they're gonna be like, walking like, what the fuck? No wonder you.
You know, now that you mention it, I have never seen you wear pants, so I think it did affect you long term.
It did. It did. I'm still waiting for those Robin legs to kick in.
Okay.
But let's say, on a positive note, think about it. Overall, all the renditions of Batman and Robin, it's like, if you think about it, it's like, okay, the Dark Knight, that says it right there in the title. Mm-hmm. He's all in black, and he, like, takes a young boy and puts him in the brightest colors.
All right,
you
distract him.
You have to be the, yeah, exactly. It's like, but that's a credit to him, because you have to be the baddest mother ever, as far as fighting goes, especially in the fight in short shorts.
That kid has mean maneuverability in those short shorts.
Batman versus Robin? I'm going with Robin. It's like, I got the shorts.
You're all like, in those tights, you can't move.
I know. And then later, depending on who's drawing you, you have the armor. All right, I digress. Anyway, how do we get off this? Yeah, and then for after the Adam West Burt Ward TV show for me, there was nothing. I mean, there was this long stretch of nothing for Batman. Yeah, Super Friends. When I was getting Saturday morning cartoons, like dun dun dun, Super Friends, and Batman smiling, and he was like the scientist, and he didn't really do anything.
Yeah.
And he'd sit back until
it went down.
Frank Miller.
Oh yeah, I was just about to say, as good as the Adam West thing, the Adam West Batman was, the campiness of those old ones stuck with Batman for so long until Frank Miller.
That's all it was.
And like Batman started out super dark, and then what's that? It was basically like the FCC for comics.
Oh yeah.
And they censored everything. They're like the Joker when they introduced him. He was the same.
The CGC code.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Joker was a psychotic killer like he is today.
Not just the campy. Ooh, I'm gonna,
And then
the lapel.
Yeah.
The lapel. I'm gonna squirt water in Batman's face and run away.
And then that came along, and they were like, well, it's a little bit too violent, don't you think, guys? We don't want to offend anybody, and
Yeah.
And then they're like, all right, Batman, we're going to tone him down. And Joker, we're going to make him like this crazy weirdo bank robber guy who likes to play pranks on Batman. Mm-hmm. And then, Adam West, and the campiness stuck with him until Frank Miller.
Yeah, when the lapel would squirt water in Batman's face and run away, turned into acid. We're going to melt people's faces. And they showed it.
And that really, I have read and watched the Dark Knight. I read the Dark Knight Returns comic, and I actually just read issue 1 of the Dark Knight 3 Master Race.
Yes. Yes.
I've been like, I saved it. And I was like, no, today's the day. We're doing this podcast.
Dude, we're going to talk everything Batman. That's what I say. This is going to go over long.
We may or may not have to cut and put some into another episode, because we're going to have a lot to
We're going to
about.
jump. We're trying to stay with the continuity and the timeline, but we can jump a lot of it.
And
a lot of it.
You know what was really cool
That's
about
good
that single issue is it came with a mini comic inside of the Atom.
Did it really?
Yeah.
The Lost City of Kandor or something? Roaches,
something like that.
Help me.
But anyways, yeah, that was awesome. The comic was awesome. The animated movie was spectacular. it's very
Dark Knight Returns.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the animated Dark Knight Returns movie.
Wait.
It's very rare for like them, like they're finally able to kind of do it now. Like some are taking a lot of creative liberties, which I'm fine with. But anyways, like as far as like making a movie out of a comic goes, what an animated comic movie, they were pretty true to form, like with the book to the cartoon movie.
Well, you know, Bruce Timm, they've got it set to do an animated movie.
Yeah, they're doing the Master Race, aren't they?
No, they're doing Killing Joke.
Oh yeah.
Kevin Conroy is signed on,
I am so excited.
and Mark Hamill.
It's already like in my online wish list. As soon as I've been debating pre-ordering it.
And it's right, from what I hear, it's R-rated. Something.
It's gonna be pretty hardcore.
That's the thing right there, folks. Dark Knight Returns. I had a friend of mine. I was out of comics at this point. It's like there was one time where I collected I had everything Star Wars, comics, everything G.I. Joe, action figures, tanks and everything. And then one day, which I regret to this day, kind of just, basically just, you know, life's dumpster just, because
need these
I
anymore.
noticed girls. And I didn't do anything.
Apparently, I did this all backwards. I went like girls, and then I'm like, well, I'm gonna do comics now.
Well, see, again, generation gap. You can do it these days. Like, oh, do you do comics? Back then, I was like, hey, fat boy, you can punch in the stomach. You read comics? Boom. Now, these days, that's all there is. I don't know if you know the box office, but
Yeah.
yeah, money to be made there. And I didn't get back in till Alan Moore, Brian Bolland, 1988, Killing Joke.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That is. I haven't read it unfortunately yet. It's another one that's on my just ridiculously long list of must reads.
I've told you, I mean, we've talked about this, I don't know how many times. This is the book that comes in and out of my life over and over and over again.
In the time I've spent in the shop alone, I've seen you go through 4 copies.
Really?
Like, yeah, I'm serious.
You don't spend
like
enough
4
time in the
copies.
shop.
That's
If you
just
could
the
believe
time-
that.
That's just the time I've spent in there.
Oh my god. Yeah, I got that, and it was a perfect time too, because Alan Moore. I mean, I've talked about this before. Alan Moore is one of my favorite writers ever, and he did The Killing Joke, and got me back into comics just in time for Tim Burton to unleash what was going to be the animated chaos that is Batman. Now, 89.
89. I was still just a twinkle in somebody's eye in 89.
Really? Oh my god. I see. I remember. Here's that generation gap, folks. June 23rd, 1989. I could not wait for the day. Batman. Tim Burton's Batman. Now, keep in mind, this was a time where there was nothing, and it was going to be treated seriously, and there was no internet.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there was no cell phones, there was no internet, there was no.
The only
you know,
thing that was going around was like someone saw a preview.
No. There was. It was Entertainment Tonight,
Mhm.
which had 10 seconds. You put your VCRs in and record that. Oh, I got to see this. Or Starlog or Fangora or some sort of magazine.
Yeah.
You know, the
And
fans.
after that, it's all
And
word
you're
of
like,
mouth.
oh. And I believe, if I remember right, Jack Nicholson was the first one that they announced cast as the Joker,
Mm-hmm.
which is like, holy shit. I mean, Jack Nicholson, you know, and what they were, I could see what they were doing because we talked about Superman with Christopher Reeve.
Mm-hmm.
Marlon Brando was cast as Jor-El.
Yeah.
You know, you cast like these big name at the time stars
Yeah.
to give them legitimacy for this movie. You know,
Mhm.
because I mean, you throw a rock today, comic book movies are making, but back then there was nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And you're sitting there watching, or you're reading. I'm sorry, talking about. And it's like, oh my god, Jack
Oh yeah.
Who's playing Batman? Who's playing Batman? Everyone's like, who's playing Batman? You know, again, no internet. You can't just like, you know, look it up or
Have
Google
you heard?
everything.
No, I haven't heard. I thought.
And when they announced Michael Keaton, what
Mhm.
actually I heard, who was it? Alec Baldwin was originally going to be, and that would have been awesome because, you know, they tried to do it later on with the Shadow, but watch that. I digress. But it's like, oh, that'd be awesome. But Michael Keaton, you're like, Mr. Mom, Beetlejuice. It made sense because Tim Burton was already. They announced Tim Burton's doing Batman, and he did, you know, Beetlejuice and stuff like that. And you're like, Mr. Mom. That's my first reaction. But he was fucking badass, and that's the thing, though. It's like,
You want Batman to save the day, you have to say his name 3 times. Batman.
but see, the thing is, at the time there was no internet. Like I said, I heard the internet explode when they said
What's that sound? It sounds like it's coming from
Michael
the future.
Keaton. It's like, you know, the trees, the wind in the trees. Keaton. Keaton. When they showed that first, I remember Entertainment Tonight. I was one of those guys who thought I was making fun earlier. I bought it
Put
VCR.
the VCR.
10 seconds, and they showed it was that first scene when the Batmobile came in and they exploded something. And they showed, you didn't really see Batman.
Mm-hmm.
You just kind of showed him, and they showed like some Joker footage, and then like that scene where the clouds and the bat signal.
Yeah.
Like, this is awesome. And then they showed that open scene, that first picture, that first reveal of Michael Keaton in the suit standing next to the Batmobile in Starlog magazine.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sold.
his Batmobile was the like long.
That was the template for Bruce Timm.
Because that's my favorite Batmobile.
That's the first one. Give it up for Tim Burton. You know, say what you will about him, but that was the one.
I love.
Not
it.
exactly, but
It's for me. It's pretty iconic. I mean, it's made its way. It's still in use pretty much in comics, and like in the Son of Batman. Like that's the style of car he was driving.
You're right.
And I love that it still holds up. That design.
Yeah. But I'm nitpicking here. The grappling hook going up the side of the building. All right, come on.
It's not a Bat product unless it has a grappling hook.
Right.
I'm sure Batman's cell phone has a grappling hook.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Hold on. Wow.
Not 89.
I'm getting some static from your phone.
But Jesus, in 89, getting back to that one, when that movie came out, oh my God, you couldn't look anywhere. And I'm saying, I wasn't kidding earlier when I said, folks, you know, you like Batman? You know, get punched in the stomach. Fucking, you're stupid. Now, you couldn't go anywhere without seeing the bat symbol. That movie came out, it was exploded across the world. I mean, motherfuckers were carving it in their heads, shaping it. You saw in Times Square, which is the first time, the giant billboard with the bat symbol.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, it was like, we've been redeemed.
Like, I can come out as a comic fan.
Yeah, it was
now.
pretty. Yeah, it's kind of like, you know, what's going on a couple years ago. I can come out.
The sun is so bright and beautiful.
Like vampires. That's what I meant when I said coming out. I meant vampires. There was no government legislation.
We live in the Northwest. We're practically vampires.
Vampires could get married when Batman 89 could come out. But yeah, I mean, it was great to the point where you actually had people who used to pick on me included. You just come up and be like, I saw that movie. Hey, you read comics. What'd you think of that movie? You know, like they're looking to us for, you know, like, what do you think? You know, it's like we were the critics. We were the first internet. Wait a minute, you're not going to punch us this time. You're looking for validation. It's like, yes.
I love that that Joker, like, I guess I'll call it a monologue. Tell me, Batman, have you ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight?
Oh,
That's always stuff. If I can find it, I'm gonna put this little comic strip up here on the slideshow. It's a little comic strip of the Joker pointing a gun at Batman. And going, tell me, Batman, have you ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight? And Batman like shows a picture of him and the devil dancing in the moonlight.
he's all yes.
And Joker, that can't be real. And he pulls out the second place trophy.
Second place. That's awesome.
Now we all know why Batman's so angsty and brooding. He got second place.
Oh my god, that's awesome. But yeah, I mean, the fact that they got Jack Nicholson, and it's like a formula for Warner Brothers because they did it with, like I said, Marlon Brando, Jack Nicholson, and let's face it, he dominated that movie.
I would be happy if they were like, all right, we're gonna put Joker in another. You know who we should get? The first Joker, Jack Nicholson.
Yeah, see, that's the thing.
If if they were gonna do something like, not like they just did with the Batman v Superman, but like an actual like live action Dark Knight Returns type of thing. That you want someone to play an older Joker. At this point, he'd be the guy.
You think so?
I feel like he'd do a good job.
You know, they killed him off. You know who I'm going for?
What?
Willem Dafoe.
Willem Dafoe.
Guy who played Green Goblin in the Sam Raimi the first Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Can you see him right now? Or what's his name? Dude playing Harrison Wells. Yeah, come on.
I have always loved that actor.
Is he? Not, he chews the scenery around everything. That guy. I could sit there. I could watch him read the phone book. You know.
Right. I'm gonna go a little off topic here and talk about this actor. Right. I saw him years ago on the show Scrubs. He was playing this happy-go-lucky, funny guy. You know, the main character's older brother. He's always picking on him and giving him shit. And every other role, like TV show I've seen him in, he's always like, you know, this jokester, always, you know, messing around. And to see him nail a serious role like this is amazing. And he's playing a dead serious character, especially right now, with who, when he does make jokes, are very dry, and I love dry humor. Anyways,
I'm not familiar though. Okay.
He usually does a lot of like guest star things on shows, like the guy that plays Harrison Wells in The Flash.
Is that the guy you're talking about?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
That guy. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Can you see that though? If they did like a live action Dark Knight,
Yeah.
like Willem Dafoe or that guy.
Yeah, like when you see that guy has a very big. I'm gonna look up the actor's name after we're done here. But when he smiles, he's got a huge smile. Like it's
like, because I've always said if they did a live action Dark Knight Returns movie, I said let's give Clooney another chance, man.
Mm-hmm.
Or even Mel Gibson.
Yeah.
And then Frank Miller and George Miller is directing. Mad Max George Miller.
Yeah.
And have those guys do it. And give Clooney, because Clooney could, you know, we'll definitely get to Batman and Robin, but give him another chance, you know, kind of like how they did with Affleck and the thing.
Yeah.
Put him in there, just like, you know.
Yeah.
Oh man.
You know, the thing is, yeah, I'm just gonna save it for when we get to Batman and Robin. I'll just save my thoughts.
This is seriously going to be a two-parter because
Yeah.
we've just got to Batman.
We're already at like 39 and a half minutes.
Right.
So I think when we get done with our talking about all the movies, we'll probably end her there. And then next week we're gonna talk about a couple of comics, a couple of amazing, awesome comics.
Yeah, we should do comics now, and then we'll save some comics, and then next week you want to do some Batman Returns.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, we could do that.
This might be a 4-parter.
Yeah, I mean we got a lot to cover here, you guys.
It's Batman.
I mean, like I was saying earlier, he's got like 4 or 5, titles just for him right now. that are still running.
Yeah.
Not
All
to,
right.
not to mention him in the Justice League.
Hit me with some of your favorites.
All right, I'm gonna start off with a more recent title then.
Do it.
Well, semi-recent. Court of Owls.
No.
That book was awesome.
Yes.
The combination of Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo, those guys. I'm speechless again. Like this, when I first started, I was like, yeah, this book sounds kind of cool, and they really nailed it. What's natural? Like you and I were talking about this when I was getting the book.
The natural, like he took. First of all, when I go to conventions and Comic Cons and things like that, the first thing I do is go to the writers and artists section, and again, the older I get, the more people I don't recognize. But this Scott Snyder, he like, not literally, but he made me like, hey, old man, hey, you fat bearded fuck. Here I am with the Court of Owl series. He's like, he took the fact that like, okay, the natural enemy of a bat is not a clown.
It's an owl.
It's an owl. And oh my god, he took it and ran with it.
And like, it's truly amazing. Like it creates. He created some more like new backstory for Bruce. Like, so the Court is like an organization that's always been hidden in the shadows, like even deep, like past the shadows. They were believed to have never existed.
They've almost invented the entire Earth.
Yeah, like they were. It was a nursery rhyme, and people would tell this to their kids to scare them, to make them act, behave, but while their people are telling this nursery rhyme to their kids in bed, the Court is having their freaking meetings.
Yes.
Like hidden behind walls of old buildings where they have like hidden rooms and stuff on like the 13th floor, which doesn't exist, but that's where their meetings at. So like after Bruce's parents die, he actually, I should probably give him the nursery rhyme, right?
It's like it's pretty much they've spawned off. Well, they invented urban legends.
Yeah.
It's like Batman prides himself on being the Dark Knight of Gotham, the protector of his city, his parents' city.
Mm-hmm.
And he knows every nook and cranny, every crevice, every back alley, every dive and everything.
Every gargoyle.
Guess what? The Court of Owls built that city. They invented that city. They know places that Batman doesn't even know, and they embarrass him hard. And then this, leading into this.
So the nursery rhyme goes, beware the Court of Owls that watches all the time, ruling Gotham from its shadow perch. Behind granite and lime, they watch you at your hearth, they watch you in your bed. Speak not a whispered word about them, or they'll send the town for your head. And so,
sorry, just chills down my spine.
So I hope that came in pretty clear through the mic.
Just loud and clear.
So Bruce, having heard this, nursery rhyme from his parents, they die in this just kind of weird way. They're big names in Gotham, so he's like, well, they're such important people, it must have been the Court. And he's sitting in his house, and an owl comes into the attic, and he shoots the owl with an arrow and kills it. And he's like, it's the Court, they're watching me, they know I know. And so he goes to this old building where he suspects that the Court has their meetings, and he finds nothing there, and he gets trapped there for 4 days until the police eventually find him or whatever. And it's just a truly I want to say humbling,
eerie,
eerie,
a repetitive process through the Court, because they constantly embarrass and humble Batman.
And later he's finally after him being attacked, his family being attacked, he's like, all right, this is the court, I guess. And he's fighting the Talon, and this book has like some really awesome like scenes, like panels in it of him like fighting the Talon and trying to survive, because this thing is equally as trained as he is.
Yeah, I was going to say, for those who don't know, give a brief history. Brief and history should not go hand in hand with the Talon. Because the Talon is not one person.
Yes, the Talon is like, there are multiple Talons, like, and they span throughout generations. And they're one of the primary places, spoilers by the way, but one of the primary places that they would recruit, Haley's Circus.
Yes.
The Talon that, oh man, I'm not gonna tease too much on this. Just get the book. It's at the shop. Buy it.
You get little echoes of like the League of Assassins and the
Yeah.
Raja Ghul.
Yeah,
But and that's a whole. That's a hint, not a spoiler.
Yeah. So, Batman, he finds their like headquarters and
Their nest.
their nest, and it's this place, and they trap him in this maze, and he's wandering around it for like a week, losing his mind, physically and mentally broken. He just got his ass handed to him by a Talon, and he's going through here, and he's like figuring out the fact that his great grandfather Alan Wayne was killed by a Talon.
Mm-hmm.
There's like there's pictures of him. I couldn't tell if it was like really a picture of his grandfather lost in the maze, or if it was just him going crazy. I don't know. But Snyder and Capello nailed that panel. And
Sir, I can sit there. Just tell me the story.
and it's
Or don't.
It's
That's enough.
awesome.
Yeah, just plug that book. What I really want to hear. Here's what I want you to tell me. Tell me about Hush.
Okay. Hush is most of the comics I've read recently were suggestions by this guy over here.
No, I mean greedy. I just like the way he tells me stories.
Hush is an awesome detective comic. Like, that's the only way I can really classify it.
Taking Batman. They say he's the world's greatest detective, but you never see him hardly do it.
Yeah.
You get Batman doing detective stuff. It's going to be a great story.
I mean, one of the shows, a show I would always watch when I was younger, and before I had cable and internet, I would watch CSI, because I love detective stuff.
Okay.
Like, I want to like go through this murder with them and figure out who did it and what happened and how it happened and why. And that's why I love this comic, is because it's like a true detective comic.
I am familiar with that show. My wife watches that show. I've never. I honestly say I've never watched one episode. None of them have cape and cowl.
Yeah, put a bat suit on them, and you got a killer show.
There we go. I'm right there. I'm buying all the episodes. I'm DVRing.
Hush is an amazing Jeff Loeb title,
Yes.
with spectacular art done by Jim Lee. These guys, in my eyes, like, I never heard of them before until like this last year, until you introduced me to them, and boom, legends.
Yes.
And this book has a huge, I'm gonna say cast, because I don't really know what else to say. You got Batman, you got Robin, Catwoman, you got Superman, Huntress, Ivy, Joker, Killer Croc, and they introduce this character, Thomas Elliot, Dr. Thomas Elliot, who is a child friend of Bruce. And I'm just going to give you a little quick, short teaser on the beginning. Batman is trying to rescue a child from Killer Croc, who's all deformed and messed up and losing his sanity even more than usual.
He's got the skin disease.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've actually done a little bit of Killer Croc research recently, and I kind of understand his character a little bit more, or why they make him the way he is. But I digress. There's a ransom involved. Catwoman steals the money. Batman saves the kid, subdues Croc, and goes after Catwoman. And while he's doing that, someone throws a knife and severs his grappling hook, and he falls into Crime Alley, just getting messed up. He splits open his head. You know, his cowl has didn't protect him at all. He's messed up. Huntress comes in and she's like talking to Oracle. She's like, "What do I do? What should I do?" And like Oracle sends the Batmobile. They throw him in, and he goes home and he's unconscious. And Alfred's like, "What do we do? I don't know what to do." And he's doing Morse code.
He's doing Morse code, yeah.
And he's Thomas. Oh, Alfred says, "Oh no, he's lost it. He's talking about his father. He wants his father's help."
Slipped into regress. Yeah, he's regressed.
And he's like, Thomas Elliot. So they bring in this character who's Bruce's old childhood friend, and he saves him. It was a amazing way to start a book.
Yes.
I could talk all day about this thing.
They have done for you Gotham fans that first season. They brought him in as a little one.
Oh yeah, like
remember that the school bully when they first Alfred brought Bruce Wayne to the school and he was trying to like fit him in. You know, it's like
yeah.
Remember?
They're and this whole thing is like you're trying to figure out who is behind all of the villains doing these out of character things. Like, why would Killer Croc, all he wants is more steroids and to eat people's faces? Why does he want a ransom for some kid?
You're right.
You know?
So, essentially, it's like they did a Marvel approach with Kingpin.
Yeah.
Whereas, you know, Galactus comes, or Doctor Doom, or, you know, Green Goblin, or, you know, Stiltman, or anybody. I know.
Freaking Stiltman.
But whatever they do, it's kind of like the Usual Suspects, Bryan Singer, Kaiser Sose theory. Like, you know, even if they don't know what or they know what they're doing, but they don't know that they're working for Wilson Fisk, the Kingpin.
So, without giving away anything, I'm just gonna say, well, for one, read it, get it, read it, love it. And it's one of the times where you see Batman really start to lose it. So they're at this theater, an opera.
Yes.
Right? And Harley Quinn comes in and she starts, you know, trying to rob everyone of all their money and their jewels. So he suits up, starts going at it, and she steals a family heirloom of Thomas Elliot's, Bruce's friend.
Mm-hmm.
And so Thomas starts chasing her, trying to get his heirloom back. And you know they go out the back, and Batman hears a bang, and he's like, "No, oh no, oh no!"
Flashback,
oh no.
PTSD, if you will.
Yeah. And he runs out there and he sees Thomas Elliot dead, with the Joker standing over him and a gun in his hand. So he starts beating the crap out of the Joker, like harder than usual. He's choking him out. Like he's thinking to himself, it's so easy. I'm gonna do this. And then bang! Batman's shot in the arm. He's still choking the Joker out. Bang! And one hits one of his ears, one of his little pointy ear things, and it's Detective Gordon. Commissioner Gordon, and he's like, I'm not gonna warn you again. The next one's to kill. Oh,
do you not think that's funny? No, how I was just talking about like the '89 Batman movie, how Tim Burton made instead of Joe Chill, it was Jack Napier. It's like, you made me, I made you. It was like Joker Batman type thing.
Yeah.
It's funny. It's just kind of
Yeah, it's
there's a
kinda
lot of
similar.
the revolution.
It's very roundabout, Batman.
Yeah. They just kind of like recycled. Oh yeah, people have forgot about this or never read it, or we'll just confuse them with 52 different universes.
I definitely this book is highly recommended by me and Sean.
Oh yeah.
That's all I'm going to say about it for now.
Should we hit them with a two-parter?
I think we're going to have to. So soon we're going to be talking. We're going to finish our Batman Part 2 episode next week. We're going to talk about some more movies. We're going to talk about some more amazing Loeb comics, because that dude knows how to write a detective
Long
story.
Halloween and Dark Victory.
Oh yeah. And soon we'll be talking about Batman becoming a god. He sits in the Mobius chair and he asks the questions that we may or may not want to know the answers to.
And for all those who are listening right now, Mobius chair, we're not going to tell you this week.
No, you gotta tune in next week.
That's right.
He asks, "Who killed my parents?" The chair replies, "Joe Chill." And then he asks, "What's the Joker's real identity?" And that's when the comic ends. Apparently it's supposed to be, the big reveal is in Justice League issue 50. I can't wait to talk about this. So thank you very much for tuning in. Please leave a comment and tell us, what you thought about the podcast. I mean, we would love some feedback, right?
Yes.
Even if you want to say we suck and our podcast runs too long, do it. Please like, share, subscribe, all that nonsense that YouTubers say. And do you have anything to add?
Oh, I got tons to add, but do you want to go to another hour? It's Batman, of course, but
All right.
no.
All right. So we will see you again. We will see you again next week, people.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much for
Same
listening.
bad time, same bad channel.
All right.